My name is Jackie Broyles, and I'll be answering two questions today: why technology is important and why it can be seen as negative. The first reason why I think technology can be seen as really important is because you can go on the internet and you can use technology as a resource for education purposes, and you also can use it as a way to communicate. Something that I think technology can be used for, as a negative thing, would be that people don't technically really talk to you in person anymore. They kind of just are primarily focused on their technology or whatever they're using.
Or Norby. Should I say my major?
Sure.
I'm a broad field science major for teaching. Don't know how to say that correctly. So I'm going to do how technology should be used in education. So in a classroom setting, you can have smart boards and iPads and things like that, but I think they should be used if they're bettering the students' learning instead of just being expensive paperweights or an expensive whiteboard where the teacher just does normal notes on there when they could just be using the whiteboard. Or if the teachers have no idea what they're using it for, then it can be a problem because it's not being used to its full potential. Should students be banned from using computers and phones in the classroom? I don't think they should be banned from using computers and phones in the classroom. It should be regulated. I mean, they shouldn't be on Pinterest or using Snapchat all day in the classroom, which might be what my brother does. But I think they can definitely be tools, and I think there should be a technology class for at least computers, how to actually use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, because I never had that in my high school, so I have no idea what I'm doing. What is doublespace? Okay, anyway, should teachers who don't use current technology be fired? I don't think they should be fired. That's a little extreme, but the training would be helpful, because I'm sure some of the people who don't use it just don't understand how to use it correctly, and they're just frightened by it and don't want to not have it work in front of their classroom, and then the students be what's that called? Disengaged and undermining their authority. They have no idea what they're doing up there, and they need our help. You're a teacher? What did you go to school for?
So since you're going to be a teacher one day, are you going to use technology in your classroom?
Yes, I will. Since most schools actually do have smart boards and are integrating into iPads instead of having real books. So I'm going to be tossed into the technology.
Do you think you have, the decision to, or do you feel obligated to use it?
I definitely feel obligated to use it. I feel sometimes it's not necessary. If teachers are just using the smart board to put PowerPoint notes or something, they could just write those on the board or something. Or how they have games or things on there. You could make it more real life. I think there's different ways in the classroom specifically that you don't need technology all the time, but we've kind of been using it as a crutch.
All right, Hallie, do you think that you'd be able to go a day without using technology?
No, I probably couldn't.
Why is that?
It'd be too hard.
Why?
Can we pause so I can think of a reason?
No.
Were you recording that?
I'm Chris Silver. I'm a business and technology teacher at River Falls High School, and I've been teaching for about 20 years in the area of computer technology and business education. And today I've been asked to talk a little bit about how technology fits into the world as I see it. And we're going to start basically kind of addressing the issue of technology or robots replacing personal care attendants, which would be you. And I think there is a place for technology in healthcare and care of people with disabilities and elderly individuals. But at the same time, there's also the human aspect to it, and I think in terms of psychological health, it makes more sense to combine the technology, but also to have a person-to-person relationship in a care situation. I think that people, when you take that away, there's, loneliness, and the impact of loneliness, as you probably know, isn't good on our health. So I think no matter what or how far technology goes in just basic cares, I think there's always going to be a need for human conversation and connection. In my own work, it's kind of interesting because in the courses that I teach, we're using more and more online resources and lessons, and there's more screen time for students. And I see a downside to that because it's less obvious sometimes where students need help. Where it used to be a little more obvious, they're obviously in more time in front of a screen. The other issue is on the plus side of things, it's made it easier sometimes for students to find information and organize information if they have the online resources. So we use a classroom management system, for instance, where all of my lessons are online and all the video tutorials and things that students need to do well. So I see it as a kind of a plus for student achievement. I do worry about sometimes where students are at in their own conversations with other students, because I think they do tend to text a lot and rely on technology more than they should. So there's a healthy end of it, and then maybe a not so healthy end, and that's the less human to human contact, which I think is a downside.
All right, another question.
Okay.
For our journal entries we did, one of the questions was asked if teachers don't use technology, should they be fired? So from a teacher's perspective, what do you think of that?
Well, there's a big movement, of course, for teachers to use more technology, but I think just to use it for the sake of using it is really the wrong approach. I think a lot of teachers really don't need to rely on it, and they can be very effective in the classroom. I have a friend who's a biology teacher, and he uses very little computer technology just because it really doesn't fit in his style and his approach, and he's certainly as effective as anybody who uses technology. On the other hand, if you feel comfortable with it, there's so many resources out there and ways to make your job, I guess, more efficient, and ways to connect with kids through that. But at the same time, should a teacher be fired? I don't think so. I know too many good teachers that are not really using a ton of technology that do outstanding work in the classroom.
As I'm scrolling through Facebook, I find this. My parents asked me for help with technology. I don't know. I'm not like an expert. People.
Most people will publish and have a title of their
Okay. Let's do two. Alicia, would you be able to live without your TV?
No.
Would you be able to live without your phone?
No.
Would you be able to live without these pretty lights that you have strung around your dorm?
Yeah.
Would you be able to live without a fan?
Yeah.
Even in the summer when it's hot in these rooms?
Okay, no.
What about your computer? Why are you on your computer?
Because I gotta write my paper.
Are you forced to write that paper?
Yup.
Would you rather type it or would you rather write it?
Type it.
So you need technology. What are you doing over there?
Printing my paper.
What do you use to print your paper?
My printer.
Technology?
Yep.
Is technology working?
No.
Do you hate technology?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay. Alright, so yesterday I used technology to ask about technology, I read a Facebook status saying I'm creating a documentary for one of my final projects and would appreciate any feedback that you or someone you know has on technology. So I asked, is it beneficial? Is it dumbing us down, and why? Could you go a day without any form of technology, and if not, why? And I also asked if technology has caused any problems, and what are our opinions on Furbies and Tamagotchis. So from Ashley, she said, I do believe technology is beneficial. My most recent favorite example is it allows premature infants to survive. I do not believe technology is the reason people are dumbing down. I believe it has allowed for the acceptability of stupidity, but it is not directly to blame. I believe there are a few other factors that contribute to the dumbing down we see in our society, and absolutely not. Technology is used everywhere we look. From our books to even the water I'm drinking and mug it's in. Depending on the robot, I find a lot of them to be creepy. Have you not seen Terminator or Doctor Who? No, I actually have never seen them. My cousin, who goes to school in California, she messaged me a very long answer, and she also posted an article. So she said, when I think of how far we've come in regards to medical and electronic, it blows my mind. Millions of lives are saved by the technology we now have. The military is constantly protecting Americans using state-of-the-art technology. Having access to the internet has made lives easier and at times lazier. Also, it can be harmful in terms of weapons of mass destruction, genetical engineering, and corruption in the media as well. We tend to take it for granted, though, like the simplicity of heat in our homes, power lights, or something as simple as making a pot of coffee. The fact that we have the technology to go to Mars is beyond what anyone imagined 100 years ago. Although I think that it is more beneficial than harmful, the harm that can be caused is scary too. Nuclear weapons, bombs, and hackers getting innocent couples' information from a computer are all the credit card breaches that have been happening at Target and other big box companies. It does dumb us down and makes us lazy as well. Living in the Silicon Valley, where all the technology in the U.S. comes from, I can get alcohol delivered to my door. I don't have to leave the house to grocery shop. They'll come to me. If you really want without technology, how would we get coffee? Like, seriously, though. I'm so thankful for technology. Alright, so we're going to hear from Austin. Austin's a tattoo artist by Tats by Zap. Austin, do you think that you'd be able to do your job without technology?
I think it would definitely be possible because, like the Japanese style of tabori, where they use a stick and needles and they do it all by hand, is still to this day a very common way of getting tattoos. Otherwise, you have over in Africa the people using just sticks and human bone to do tattoos. So realistically, tattooing's been around for hundreds of thousands of years, and you're able to do it with any sharp object, really. There's people doing it with razor blades and anything, really.
So since you rely on power to run your machines, and that's the way that you learned how to tattoo, do you think you'd be able to adapt to Japanese style of tattooing?
I think it'd definitely be very different and harder to pick up, but if I grew up only knowing that, it would definitely be a lot easier, and I believe I'd be able to figure it out eventually.
So what about your clients who come from out of town and rely on cell phones and shop phones to book appointments? Do you think that would make you guys lose business?
Yes and no. I mean, it would definitely make it harder to learn about different shops unless you were in the area or knew people from that area. But it would encourage more people to go in and actually meet with their artists, check out their portfolio, and instead of just seeing what's put online.
So you use your Facebook account strictly for your art. Do you think it would be harder to get your art out in the open without your Facebook profile?
I think right away at first it would be harder, but word of mouth has always been the biggest player in this industry as far as advertisement.